In this video, we're going to take a look at 8 different coaching styles. They differ by how much control the paddler has, what decisions they get to make, and where the feedback comes from. We'll start off by taking a look at command style. That's where the coach makes all the decisions and the paddler just does what they're told.
So we're going to look at going sideways in our boats. To do this, we're going to turn round to the direction that we want to go, reach out with our paddle, pull the paddle towards us and slice it out behind us. Have 3 goes on either side.
If the coach had said, "Now do some draw strokes, you decide if they're fast or slow, you decide when you want to go left or you want to go right, feel free to ask any questions and come back to me when you want some more," that would be much more like practice style. There, the coach still sets the tasks and provides the feedback, but the paddler has some choice about how they do it. In reciprocal style, the paddler gets feedback from another paddler, but the coach has set up what the feedback's going to be about and how it's going to happen.
So a good draw stroke has my top hand out over the water. So what I'm keen to do, can I just get you to work as a pair? One, do some draw stroke, the other just give a little bit of feedback where the top hand is.
In self-check, the paddler obtains their own feedback. The coach sets up the task and sets the criteria that the paddler checks themselves against.
So in a good draw stroke, our top hand is going to be out over the water. So if you could just go off, find some space and have a practice, and just make sure that when you're doing it, you're checking yourself to make sure that that top hand is out over the water.
Inclusion is all about the paddler choosing how difficult to make the task.
What we're going to do is I'm going to give you these balls and throw them where you like, and what I want you to do is when you get close to them you have to draw stroke in to collect them all back again. Okay?
In this example, the paddler could choose to throw the balls right next to their boat and have a short distance of draw stroke, or could choose to throw them a long way and have much further to move. Another way to do inclusion would be to give a range of tasks. You can try to draw stroke into the centre of the pond, or if you fancy a harder task, try to follow the edge of the pond, keeping the front of your boat just a few centimetres from the grass. Yet another way to do inclusion would be by varying the environment. You can draw stroke into the wind, or draw stroke down the wind, or draw stroke across the wind. However we do it, the key point is that the paddler controls how hard the task is, and we hope that they'll choose a task that will give them just the right amount of challenge. In guided discovery, the coach knows the answer and sets a sequence of problems or questions to guide the paddler to that answer. So the coach doesn't just set the question, they also own the process by which the paddler answers the question.
Go off and try using really short paddle strokes versus the bit as big a paddle stroke as you can when you're doing your draw. Which one was best?
I think on the way back the longer ones were a lot better.
Brilliant.
It was a lot less faffy effort.
This time I want you to think about where your body's facing, and I'd like you to try on the way going towards the deck, face your body towards the front of your boat, and on the way back I'd like you to turn around and wind up and face your body towards where you're going towards. Okay, so how was that one?
I felt that when I faced where I was going, I was able to reach a lot further and get that longer draw, which made a big difference, I think. So facing the front of the boat wasn't very good, but facing where I was going made a big difference.
As you can see, discovery learning takes longer, and we need to choose our questions really carefully to match how aware the paddler is. If they're struggling to even do the task, they're unlikely to have enough spare brain available to be able to compare 2 subtle variations on it. On the plus side, some folks will find discovery learning really engaging, and it's preparing the paddler to be more independent to help them continue their learning in their own time. In convergent discovery, there's still one right answer, but now the coach is just setting the question, the paddler is choosing how to solve it.
So we're going to continue working on our draw stroke, and what we're going to look at now is I want you to see what hand controls the angle of your paddle.
In divergent discovery, there's more than one right answer. It's about the learner finding out which way or ways work best for them. Divergent works well with those little tweaks which make all our paddling styles subtly different.
Okay, so now we're going to play with the edge on the boat as we're doing the draw stroke. And what I'd like you to try is try it with your edge away from the stroke, try it with your boat flat and try edging towards the stroke and see which one feels the best.
I found leaning towards my stroke best. I could get a lot more reach, whereas where I leaned away, I found that I couldn't reach out very far and couldn't get a very good stroke in.
Right.
And flat was kind of in the middle.
That's interesting because I find the opposite works well for me, but whatever works for you.
All of these different styles have pros and cons. The very coach-owned styles, the ones towards the command end of the spectrum, get the job done really quickly. They work well when we're concerned about the safety of a session, but they might also produce a learner whose only way of finding out if something works is to ask their coach. The more learner-owned styles at the discovery end of the spectrum are great at helping paddlers to become better independent learners, but can take a long time and can involve the paddlers sometimes heading off into unhelpful tangents. They will all be exactly the right thing to do in some situations and exactly the wrong thing to do in others. As coaches, we want to be able to deliver in all the different styles so we can choose the right one for the right situation.